Hello everyone, Mr. Taylor here. Let's take a look at 11.4, example 3. And this is the final example of dealing with our lesson on 11.3. But here we want to look at inequalities and let these inequalities show us how we would write a real world situation if we're given an inequality. Okay. An objective. Students will learn how to write a real world situation that an inequality models. And again, we want to make sure that you're clear on a coefficient, a constant, and inequality. So the author says, writing a real-world situation from an inequality by studying the way that a given inequality is constructed, you can write a real-world situation that the inequality models. So here we have a table, and it gives us different phrases that we can use to find the symbols that appear in inequalities. So we look at the first symbol. The arrow is pointing to the left, and we know as numbers go to the left, they decrease on the number line. So that means less than or fewer than, and those are just two numbers, two actual phrases. And then we see the next symbol where the arrow is pointing to the right, and we know as numbers go to the right, they get larger. So we can say that this particular phrase could be greater than or more than. Then the next one that we see, where it's literally pointing to the left, which we know is smaller, but it has a line underneath, and that line means equal. So here, when you see the inequality sign with a line underneath, it means that it's pointing to the left. It means less than or equal to. Well, I don't want to do that. Or at most, or no more than, or a maximum of. Now, the very last one that we see the inequality symbol, and it's literally pointing to the right, which means larger than something, but it has the line underneath. So we could say that that means greater than or equal to. That's what the line means. That's greater than, and that's or equal to at least, no less than, or a minimum of. So these are just phrases that you might want to jot down in your notes to remember to be able to determine which way your inequality will go, whether it's greater than, less than, or whether it is inclusive as well. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the things, a couple of things that the author's asking us to do. He says here we want to write a real world situation that can be modeled by the inequality 11 and 2500ths x minus 20 is greater than or equal to, and that says 10 and 7500x minus 12 and 5/10. So if we notice something about the inequality, we see that each side of the inequality consists of variable terms, variable term, variable term, with a constant subtracted from it, minus 20, minus 12.5. The left side, it says, according to the inequality, must exceed or be equal to the right side. This is what this means. This side must be greater than or equal to the right side. So the numbers 11.25 and 10.75 can represent, and realistically, you're going to use decimals and fractions, but you definitely use decimals. That decimals is something that you really want to get a grip on, because look at what it says. They can represent hourly wages of 2 jobs. So that's one thing you definitely want to get have some degree of knowledge when it comes to comparing whether or not it's worth me taking this job and how many hours I'd have to work or so on to make a certain amount of money. So the numbers 20 and 12.5 can represent fixed amount of money being subtracted. Okay, so let's see what they mean by this. So the inequality 11 point, should we say, since they're saying money, so let's read it as money. The inequality $11.25 x minus 20 is greater than or equal to $10.75 x minus 12.5 can represent this particular situation. Ryan earns $11.25 per hour. His transit cost to and from work is $20 a week. So here he could work 40 hours or 10 hours or 5 hours or 2 hours, and to and from work will cost him $20. Tony earns $10.75 per hour, and his weekly transit cost is $12.50. So after how many hours of work in a week do Ryan earning minus transit costs exceed Tony's earning minus transit costs? All right. So, given what we just looked at, and you might want to go back and take a look at it, given what we just looked at, write a real world problem that can be modeled by the inequality, and that's, let's see, do we have everything here? Yes, we do. That's a negative 10 minus 1/4 x is greater than 20 minus 1/2 x. All right, go ahead and stop the video if you would, and come back and let's see how well we match up. Okay, so the author says, well, we have 2 vials and they're cool in a lab. Vial A starts at a negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit, cold, and cools at a rate of a negative 1/4 degree per minute. Vial B starts at 20 degrees Fahrenheit and cools at a negative 1/2 degree per minute. And it says after how many minutes does the temperature of vial A exceeds vial B. That's what we're doing. So I hope you got something out of this Unit 4 lessons, and I will see you in Unit 5.